So let's make introductions. In this room, we have about 75 plus years of experience in the property management business who's going to be participating with us on this phone call. We, as a training and a mystery shop company, we have a lot of insight. You know, we see a lot of things, so we're going to share some of the insight with you today as we go through the telephone training. Just to make a quick introduction, because we got started a little late with our technical difficulties, we have in the room me, myself, Michelle Flowers, president of the Training Factor. We have Cynthia Samuels, who is the owner of Inspired Multifamily, and who she does coaching and mentoring, has been in the business about 25 plus years. Well, how many years, Cynthia? I'm sorry. 20. 20. Okay, I'm dating everybody here. They're not liking it. I'm adding years to their time. We have Lee Knight, 20 plus years in affordable housing. Millie Marchetti, she has about 10 years of multifamily experience, has done everything from leasing to corporate office, accounting, and whatnot. We have Amanda Lynch, who has about 20 plus years of actual leasing experience and has many hours of telephone experience. We have Sherry Moore, who is our Director of Mystery Shop Services. Sherry sees it all, hears it all, and has a lot of insight on good and bad techniques out there for the telephone. So jumping right in, let's get started. Tackling the telephone, the name of the conference kind of says, or the webinar kind of says it all for us here. We're going to start out with a couple of polls. I kind of want to get your opinion. Lee, if you could put us up a couple of polls. Let's take the first poll. We want to find out what your true reaction is to the telephone. So the poll is, when the phone rings, what is your first thought? And be honest here. 47% say, oh no, I'm busy right now, this is an interruption. And 53% say, yippee, it's a prospect calling. Y'all are more honest than I thought you were going to be. That's pretty good. I mean, you know, I have to say, when I was in leasing, because we were so busy with all the paperwork and everything, when the phone would ring, I would be like, oh my gosh, it's an interruption. But you know, you needed the lead, so you kind of had to strike that happy medium between feeling like it's an interruption and then just stopping what you're doing and saying, yay, a prospect is calling. So that's great. So 47-53. All right, we have one more poll, and we'd like to put that up before we really get started into the conversation here. So Lee, if you could hit us with another poll there. What is your objective when answering a prospect's phone call? So you can click more than one thing here. You can click more. So what is your objective when answering a prospect's phone call? Oh, good. We have 100% now. Let's go ahead and show that poll. All right. So let's see what our results are here. So 94% say it's to set an appointment with the caller. Yay. That's good. That's really good. We have 63% that says to describe the features of the apartment, to provide the requested information to callers, to find the perfect apartment for the prospect, and to gather enough information to complete the guest card. Wow, that's pretty much spread evenly except for that one, which is to get the appointment with a caller. A couple of things we're going to talk about, and this is a great kind of a lead-in to what we're going to be talking about. Here, you know, at the Training Factor, one of the things that we train is that your job as the leasing person is to find the perfect apartment for the prospect. Because if you do that, everything else will fall into place. True, guys? True. Yeah. Really. So finding that perfect apartment for the prospect is really, in our training, it should be number one. Setting appointment is all part of that, but not necessarily the ultimate goal of the phone call, although you do want to do that. But the ultimate goal of that phone call is to find out the perfect apartment for that prospect. And we're going to talk about methods that you can utilize to do that throughout this session. All right. So the first impression, and I'm going to have some of the guys jump in here, especially from the mystery shop department. The first impression that you have about probably, what, 5 to 10 seconds, when you say, before somebody really makes an impression of you. when you're talking with them on the phone, and they can pick up things like, are they friendly? Do they care? Are they warm? Do they want me to call? Am I bothering them? And it's all there's a lot of different things that can give them that impression. Tone of voice. I mean, you guys jump in here. Tell me, from your perspective, when you listen to somebody's phone call from a mystery shop perspective, what's that first thing that gives you that impression when you're calling in? What's the person that?
Well, it's a happy tone in their voice, and it's not to answer the phone very rushed. So you want to make sure that if you are answering the phone, to be very calm, be very uplifted, and just happy. You want to make sure that you convey that in your voice, and that always made a difference with me when I would score someone as a shopper back years ago. I would be shopping the communities, and that always made a difference with me, with my first impression of how they were going to take care of me and how they were going to listen to my needs, and were they really going to take the time to listen.
Yep, so, I agree. So first impression, a couple things we feel like you're judged on immediately is, as you said, Sherry, how warm and inviting you sound. It's kind of like if you call, you're like, oh, I don't know if I should go there or not. They may be mean to me, so you don't want to give off that impression when they call in, or that you're too busy to handle them. Another thing I think that makes the first impression, and it gives them a confidence level in your abilities to help them find that perfect apartment, is your knowledge of the product. True, guys?
Yes, absolutely.
If you're calling in and they don't know, if they can't tell you how to get there, and they can't tell you what the closest grocery store or the school district, those are very basic things that should be, in my mind, a given. Is before you ever answer your phone in your community, you should know the school districts, the basic product knowledge. Cynthia, your take on that?
Well, if you want to appear professional and on top of your game, and show them that you can help them find their right home, you have to know what you have to offer them, and you have to know everything about the surrounding community.
Everything. Product knowledge. And back in the old days, we used to do a product knowledge checklist, and it was like a gazillion pages long, and we had to fill out everything on there. But once you got finished with that product knowledge checklist, you knew everything about yourself and your competition. So that's important things to do. Okay. So how enthusiastic you made them feel during the conversation. Amanda, you're chief of this. What can you do to make that person feel enthusiastic to come out and visit?
You just want to, I mean, if you are excited and fired up about the product that you're selling, it's also their home, it's their community, and they're going to move there if you're more prone to make them your friend and be happy to have them come to your property.
Yeah, there's a tone, I think, a tone of voice, and you do this very well. You give across a tone of voice that says, I want you to come, be my friend. So that's what we're looking for, when you're handling the phone and making that first impression count. All right, so let's move on here. We have 15 tips here we're going to give you guys about, how to improve your phone skills. And my number one, and this seems crazy, I know, but my number one tip is when the phone rings, actually answer it. And that sounds like I might be being sarcastic a little bit, but honestly, we, at times in the mystery shop division, have a very difficult time getting people to answer the phone. I mean, it's amazing how many phone calls go unanswered. And not just once, Sherry, but sometimes how many times?
There are times when we have, even myself as a shopper back years ago, and shoppers now that I see, they are actually calling me and saying, I've actually tried to call this property 9 and 10 and 11 times, and I still can't get through to them, and it's through work days when they're open, and and in real time and in real life, a prospect's not going to do that. They're absolutely not going to fool with you, because the first thing they're going to think of is, one, that office is probably going to be closed, and if it's open, it's going to be chaotic, and if I need anything, chances are there's not going to be anybody in that office to help me. So I will be on my own at that community. And they will just wash you away. They'll just completely.
Yeah, they'll go to the next number.
They will.
You had a.
And also returning phone calls, because you have happened to me when I shopped before,
that I left a message and nobody called me back.
Exactly.
I people back. I am interested in renting an apartment and nobody answered me.
There's an old saying out there, and it says, you know, showing up is 90% of, I think that's the expression I'm looking for, 90% of success is showing up, right? So it goes true for the phone call. I mean, 90% of your battle is over just by simply answering that phone. So that's number one. All right, let's move on. Number two, a warm and friendly greeting in the with the community's name in it. How many of you guys have listened to or called your competition and you listen and they say, thank you for and they're just like, it's like a race to get your name and your property in there, and the caller's going, I'm sorry, who did I call and what is your name and did I even get the right place here? So slow it down, you know, slow it down. Think of old Southern, you know, hospitality. It's a little slower. Slow it down a little bit. Let them actually hear the name of the community that they just called. Let them hear your name and give them time to prep themselves for what they're going to ask you, because when you answer the phone, they're probably shocked going, oh, I got to come up with my question. So they're not even hearing what you said. So it's good to just kind of slow that down. Cynthia, did you want to add?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you have to speak slowly and understand it's not a race. You don't win anything at the end of the gift card.
No.
So it's
other than hopefully a prospect.
Right. Treat it more like a marathon. So just take your time and slow down and make a friend.
Yeah, make a friend. That's good. That's a good thing there. Okay. This goes back. We're talking about controlling your speaking speed. And my guys get on to me all the time because I'm a fast talker, especially when we're doing our demos and our things like that for the training. My brain is just like running 90 miles an hour, and I'm just talking and talking, and you know, so it's kind of a practice thing that you have to pull back your speed a little bit, slow it down a little bit, because they're trying to absorb your information. All this stuff is new to them. So it's old hat for you, but it's new to them. So you got to kind of pull that down and slow it down just a little bit. So that's number 3. All right. So now comes some participation from you guys. I'd like to know what is the popular greetings that we're using today. So take just a minute and chat us. We're going to read it back to you. But chat us what you say when people call your community. Take a minute and just chat that in. Lee, I'll have you read that out as it comes in. Okay. Oh, here's one that came in. What does it say?
It's a great day at
whatever
the property.
Community.
Yeah. Thank you for calling Avalon. This is Ashley. I like that. Park Plaza. This is Christy.
Okay. So are you guys using any kind of cool greetings, like where you're putting a special in there or anything like that, where it's really long? I know that was a trend a while back. So
thank you for calling Pinewood Station Apartments. Manuel speaking. How may I help you?
That's a nice, smooth one.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Walker's Chase. This is Tiffin. How may I help you today?
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Residences of Spring Ridge. This is Kristen. Can I help you? Good afternoon. Thanks for calling the Woodlands of Crest Hill. This is Peggy. How can I help you? I like that. Thank you for calling the Fairways of Bent Tree. This is Brandy. How can I help you? Those are some good ones.
Yeah, those are some great ones. Nice thing, you know, we can add to that just from this group here. If you guys got any special greetings that you guys use during your course. Oh, we got another one? Okay.
Thank you for calling the beautiful Park Plaza. This is Joshua. May I help you? Thank you for choosing Alexandra Apartments. This is Donna. How may I help you? And I've heard people say, you know, thank you for calling. How may I improve your day?
Oh, I love that.
So I like that.
I love
especially
that
for residents. Now, it's really, really good for residents.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's a good line
well,
for
I think it's
prospects as well, because you're improving your day.
A prospect's going to think, oh, well, they may be treating me good when I move there, too.
Exactly. Exactly.
You got any good ones?
I like at the end, instead of how can I help you, I like just saying I can help you, and with an emphasis on can,
Yeah.
so that so they understand that they're at the right place.
Right. I like that too. I've heard that a lot. I like it's my pleasure to help you today.
Well, that's
too.
like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually just sitting here thinking about that. It's amazing at how now the value of that greeting and that first impression and how it makes you feel toward their business and their product. Look at how it's crossing over with the fast food restaurants. Look at the smarts and just such humor that you can find at Starbucks drive-thru.
Oh my gosh, I love Starbucks.
I mean, do you not go to Starbucks just sometimes just to see what they're going to come at you, next with? Because it's something. It's so funny. They've got such personality. They're showing appreciation. And then Chick-fil-A, look at that. This is Amanda. It's a pleasure. How can I help you today? It's been a pleasure serving you. And that's just through a drive-thru.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A, you're going to, and you know what? That sort of, it lends itself to the way you're going to be treated overall. At Chick-fil-A, they're consistent. They're going to treat you nice. You just have a good impression anytime you go to a Chick-fil-A because they kind of put that effort into it. Same thing with a Starbucks. When you're waking up at 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning and you go through a Starbucks, it kind of brightens your day a little bit. So I think the greeting is really important. It's not so much sometimes what you say, but how you say it, So just kind of keep that in mind. Do we have any other good ones come in?
That was it. I read them all.
All right, great. Well, let's move on. Okay. One of the best things I can tell you to do when handling your phone calls is to be prepared for that initial response for the most common questions. Because you know what they are. I mean, they're the same questions. You get them probably 100 times per day. And so if you already have a preset sort of response and you're prepared, you can sort of preemptively dissipate that question and turn it into a conversation. So number 4 is prepare an initial response for common questions. All right, now I have a poll I'm going to put up here. Let's think about what is the typical first question you're asked by the prospect. We have several up here. Tell us, and if you're commonly asked something that's not on this poll, just chat it to us because we'd like to hear what that is. How are we doing on the answers coming in?
Good.
You probably have the same 3 or 4 questions that people ask you every single time, I'm going to bet. Okay, we got 100% voted, so let's see what the results are. How much are your apartments?
Yep.
I'm checking on availability, 25%. I'm looking for an apartment. Do you guys get, and you don't have to answer this, but
specials.
Are you running any specials?
Yeah.
But I would say 81% is probably dead straight on accurate. How much are your apartments? And what do we feel obligated? I mean, from school on, in first grade, what do we feel obligated to do when someone asks us the question, guys? Answer the question. But that doesn't help you in sales. Answering the question always is not the best thing to do. And, we think, well, they ask us, we should answer it, but not necessarily. I want to teach you guys a technique called deflection. So we want to deflect that question and let's try to take control of that conversation because we want to be able to get more information from them, right? So, all right. So I've prepared some common questions I hear a lot, and we're going to talk about what to say when you get that question. So how much are your whatever 2-bedroom apartment? So what do you say when you receive this question? I'm gonna let you guys chat just a couple of seconds. I'd love to hear some of you pros out there. Chat me what you say if you got that question. I got an answer, but okay. I want to hear what people say.
Let me ask you a couple of questions so I can find the best 2-bedroom option for you.
Yay, here's that one.
Yeah. How soon are you looking to move?
Okay, that's a good one.
Is price the only thing you're considering?
Okay.
That's a good one, too. I'll be happy to help you. Who am I speaking with?
That's a good one. That's a good lead-in.
Before we jump to the price, let me describe our floor plan.
Okay. All right.
What are the features you're looking for in an apartment?
Okay, great. Great deflection question. I have one I can share with you. I can help you with that. Let me get a little more information so I can find the perfect apartment for you. My name is Ashley and yours is, So it's a great way to lead into it. So we want to let them know that we can help them regardless. I mean, they could be looking for Section 8. They could be looking for affordable housing. They could be looking for whatever. We may not necessarily have that, but we can still help them, you know, and we may have it. So we might, if we can't help them, we can always direct them to a sister property. So we never, if we just gave them price when they call, what's the first thing they're going to do? Okay, thank you.
Call the next
conversation gone, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the person gone. You didn't get their name, you didn't get anything. You just gave them the price and they went on their merry way. So we want to avoid that if at all possible. All right, so moving on, another question we see a lot. I'm checking on your availability for the 2-bedroom apartments. So what do you guys say when you receive this sort of a question? Do you immediately go and pull out your availability and say, oh, yes, I have one on such and such day when you're trying to move, or do you try to deflect that question? I'll let you guys chime in there. A lot of these questions they've already, deflections they've already stated work in this situation
right, in the same
too.
Because somebody also posted, you know, that they quoted a price. How does that fit with what you're looking for? You know, well, if our 2 bedrooms are $600, how does that fit with what you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean,
so at least they're trying to get a little more information.
You just don't want them to say, it doesn't click.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to get a little bit more information from them.
Yeah.
I find too, and I don't know if you guys chime in there on the chat for me, I find that people really struggle a bit with the yield star and some of the revenue management because they are so driven on time that you're going to move in and floor plan and all that. You feel like you're forced to go get your availability sheet, but I think you can still use these same principles that we're talking about here today to deflect that question even until you find out a little bit more information on that person and what they're looking for. And we have a chat here, Lisa?
Well, 2. The first one was, may I ask you what is your ideal move-in date? Another said, we are on YieldStar and it's very difficult.
It is difficult.
Yeah.
We see that a lot, So just let's take a minute here and talk about the YieldStar thing. Guys, in this room I know we can come up with some techniques for them to sort of overcome that requirement to find out give the price right away, you know. Cynthia?
Well, we have a good comment from Peggy. She says, she answers that, sure, I can get that information to you, and I'm sure we can help you with that. So probably while that's going on, Peggy, I'm assuming you're probably getting into YieldStar and bringing that up so that you have a good feel for what you can help them with as you find out more information. But the first thing you all are doing is you're assuring them that, yes, I can help you with that. And I think if we don't include that in the deflection when we're doing that, then they may get frustrated with us. So yeah, I think that's you all really have great answers on that.
Yeah. It's a challenging thing, but it's not insurmountable.
No, it's not.
The main thing, like Cynthia said, is just let them know that you are going to be able to find them something. And that with the YieldStar program, you've got a little bit more flexibility on price too. So if they have a lower budget, you can always kind of juggle that and find them a better price for the apartment. So it is a challenge, but I still think we stick to the old school there. Finding out more what they need, looking for those hot buttons, sort of sticking to the old school style, even though we're having to lease within that revenue management framework. Okay, again. I can help with that. Let me get a little bit more information so I can find the perfect apartment for you. I love to use the word the perfect apartment because, if somebody's going to find me something, I want it to be perfect. I want the perfect living room suite for my living room. I want the perfect car. I want the perfect apartment. I want the perfect house, So I love using that word because that reassures them that you're going to find them what they're looking for. Comments, guys? Anybody?
And it's the first thing you say in your mind when you find a couch or if you find,
it's like, that's perfect. Yeah.
So, and that's the first reaction. It's perfect.
Yeah.
What you want to make sure that they understand is this is perfect.
It's going to be perfect for you. Okay. Moving on. Do you have any 2 bedrooms available? What do you say when you receive this question? I think we have addressed that. I can help you with that. Let me get a little more information so I can find the perfect apartment for you. Do you have any income based on income? What do y'all say when you get that question? Chat me. Some of you guys got good answers. Chat me a couple of things y'all say when you get that. What if you don't have any apartments based on income?
You kind of do.
Pretty much.
Really, all of them are.
All of them are.
Can you expound on that?
I'm sorry, we do not. What type of price range are you looking for?
Good answer.
Yeah.
Amanda, what do you?
Well, so many people get stuck on that based on income. I mean, we all have a budget. So technically, you know, we're all basing it on our income. You know, you just want, if you give me all of my amenities and everything that's coming, what I'm getting for my money, and you paint me that picture before you go quote me a price, I'm probably going to be a little more prone to lease my new home with you once I know what all is coming within that budget or price range.
And honestly, there's a little difference in affordable housing prices and market rates, but not that much.
Right.
I mean, not
Now,
not now.
with tax credit, usually I've found that some tax credit rents are higher than market.
I know,
You know,
I know. So maybe with that question, you know, we still use our same, you know, I can help you with that. Let me get a little more information so I can find the perfect apartment for you. But we also sort of say, well, tell me a little bit what about what you're looking. What kind of budget are you trying to stay within? Because it may very well be that you have an apartment that's going to fit their budget that doesn't even have to be an affordable apartment. So any thoughts on that, guys, out there in the webinar world? You want to chat me some things that you guys normally say for that?
Peggy did.
Okay, what's Peggy
And then
say?
she said, well, I read hers. I'm sorry, we do not. What type of price range are you looking? And then she said she'll tell them where, if she knows of another, you know, complex that might be able to accommodate them.
Okay.
So many people, too, are programmed to say we don't participate with their programs right away. And right then you're kind of shutting off the whole rapport that you could be building with that prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, Amanda. Okay, moving on. Okay, number 5. We're down to tip 5. Use a conversational tone in determining their needs. Remember that you're building a relationship in a conversational way to acquire the following, which I've got a list of stuff. What we're talking about here, and you guys know, you're probably feeling the pressure from your bosses, your managers. Get the guest card filled out. Get the guest card filled out. And tell me if I'm right or wrong on that. Y'all chat me yes or no. Do you feel that pressure? Because you've got to put it in the accounting software, I'm sure. You know, and it is important. I mean, you know, from our standpoint, even as a training company, you know, data is important. Our leads are important, and we want to manage that. But there's a way you go about it. You don't want it to feel on the other end like you're drilling them for information. You know, you want it to feel sort of casual and conversational. So don't be a robot, a leasing guest card robot. Mm-hmm. So really on the guest card, you're looking for their name, size needed, date needed, number of people, reason for moving, pets, you know, contact numbers, marketing sources. You're looking for all that, but there's ways to go about that. And really, one question can lead you into another question. So I'll turn to Amanda. You got any techniques for gathering the guest card information so it's not so robotic?
Yes, and you want to be careful in that area because you don't want to feel like you're in an interview or on stand or, you know, going through an interrogation. You know, sometimes it can be, the phone calls can come across so unfriendly because you're so worried about getting that information. But you'll find if you just have normal, friendly conversation, you can usually gather all of those bullets and get the information you need just through normal conversation.
Yeah. Millie?
And other things, instead of being sitting there at your desk interviewing them, you can walk with them to the unit. And
this is during the phone call.
oh, sorry.
Oh.
You're right, though.
Yeah.
When you're presenting to
When
them,
you're presenting to them, then you can just in a conversational manner.
You know, when I find it listening to the calls and things like that, when people are, when you take the time to actually build a rapport with them, you don't bombard them with trying to ask them so much information right off the bat. It relaxes them and it puts them at ease, and that starts the snowball reaction of going in a positive way. They actually don't care to open up to you. They don't care to talk about what they really ideally would like and things like that. But you can't get the buggy in front of the horse. Right. You have to set the tone. You have to create the comfort level, the sincerity, and then you can, you know, very intelligently gather the information that you need. Right. Absolutely.
We have one attendee that says she tells her staff to talk to people and not at them. and that makes
That's
a big difference.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Who is Peggy?
Peggy Crowley.
Peggy.
Yes,
Peggy's
that's great.
awesome.
Yes, she is.
Peggy's got some good insight here.
Uh-huh.
That's so true. I mean, we forget sometimes this is still a people business. You know, we still are dealing with people, their homes, and their life, and you know, you want to communicate with them just like you would communicate with a buddy or a friend over coffee, not necessarily at the bank when you're filling out a credit app.
Right. That's right.
And also remember that you want to make it your home, and this first impression of how comfortable you feel with them will give you the business impression of how are they going to treat you when I call to have a problem.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. All right, moving on. Okay, fluffy. I love fluffy. You know, fluffy questions. Commenting back when they answer. You know, when you ask them a question. You know, when do you need to move? Well, I'm going to move 15 days from now. And you know, we hear a lot of times people will say, okay, who's going to be living with you? Okay, are you bringing any pets? Okay, so, you know, are you bringing any pets? Yes, I'm bringing my dog. Oh, but he's so cute, you know. What kind of dog is it? That kind of fluffiness is how you build those conversations. You know, commenting back on a question that they gave you an answer to is almost a politeness. Wouldn't you guys agree with that? I mean, it's like I ask, you give, and I give back. If I ask and you give, and I ask and you give, and I ask and you give, I feel a little interrogated. So it's kind of like a two-way street. I ask, you give, I give back. It's hospitable. Yeah. So it's just kind of you know you're going to get this common thing said to you over and over and over, but take the time to be a little fluffy. It doesn't hurt anything to be a little soft with people. So, all right, moving on. Unless anybody has any questions or comments there on that.
No.
We like to ask, you know, are there any special features you're looking for? Because what you're trying to do now is find out those hot buttons. Price might be the hot button. I don't know. If they're calling you about affordable housing, I would say price probably is the hot button. But look for those hot buttons. Look for those things that they're looking for that's going to force them to make a decision. So is it location? Is it features of the apartment? Is it amenities? Is it close to work? What are they looking for? The only way you can find that is literally asking questions. And if they're not willing to answer you, you may have to give them some choices. You know, what's important to you? Do you cook a lot? Do you enjoy entertaining? Do you eat out a lot? You know, so if you start asking them some of those questions, it's like finding out more about them, so you can find out really what they're looking for. You may only have one floor plan. But it's important to play up on the things that's important to them and match it with that one floor plan that you have.
And I would say that also be ready to overcome objections, like if they want a lot of storage space and you don't have it, you can suggest storage space nearby, and you are solving their problem.
Yeah, you're going to know those things, because if you've done your product knowledge, you're going to know your strengths and your weaknesses as a community. And we all have them. Companies have them, communities have them. You have strengths and you have weaknesses. So if you already know kind of what your weaknesses are and how the public perceives those weaknesses, to have a pre-planned thing like if you don't have a swimming pool, I would have the closest neighborhood membership-driven swimming pool.
And the fees and everything.
And if you don't have a fitness center, have
the YMCA around the corner.
Yes, you can go to the so you want to have some of those things sort of pre-set. And I would have them in writing on a flyer. You know, if somebody has an objection, yes, absolutely. Here's our, here's the top 3 fitness centers, and this is how much it costs if you don't have a fitness center.
I think a good way to overcome that and to talk about that is to say, well, a lot of our residents are members at LA Fitness, and they just love it there. It's just around the corner, and it's so easy, and they've got a great program going on. See Jack, and he can help you.
Yeah, because I think, and we hear this a lot from some of the smaller communities, especially when we do some of our mystery shopping, they'll skip the amenities altogether. They won't talk about any amenities, and they'll lose points on that question. You know, and then sometimes they'll come back and they'll say, well, I don't have any amenities in my community. Well, you just got to create some amenities.
Your staff and
Yeah.
your amenities.
You got to create some amenities to talk about. So what we're looking for, though, is, as you notice here in orange, we're looking for those hot buttons. That's going to give us our next step for that prospect.
And if we're talking with them or to them, but not at them, we can get that information.
Absolutely.
Right, Peggy?
Peggy. All right. I'd like to know, just let me take a quick little chat. You guys chat me here on this. Do you guys summarize their needs? I mean, it's a big part of our mystery shop program is we look to see if people summarize their needs. Do you guys do that? Just curious what the field is doing right out there right now and what you think about that. I know Peggy's got an answer.
And you're speaking of after they've had conversation.
After you've had that conversation,
kind of
you found out what they want.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of summarize that back to them. And what I'm saying is, okay, so you're looking for a 2-bedroom upstairs with plenty of storage and lots of cabinet space. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do that?
And Peggy says it shows you're listening.
Absolutely.
Brandy said yes.
I think it's real important to do that. I mean, it does let them know, okay, she heard me. She knows now what I'm looking for. He or she knows what I'm looking for. It's going to find it for me. So I think it's important to do that.
And I'm not just trying to sell me something.
Right.
Just to meet quota.
Okay, now that you know their hot buttons and you've summarized it back, now is your time to build value. And you're building value about their hot buttons. So if they told you, I want a large kitchen, I want some storage space, I hate my kitchen in my house, they've told you the things that are important to them. So when you're building back your presentation to them, I should be able to close my eyes and visually see things that were important to me in your description back to me based on those hot buttons. I should be able to close my eyes and see it. So we've prepared a little example here for you guys. I'll let you guys take a moment and look at that. So once we discover their hot buttons, you can say something like this: excellent, I think I found the perfect apartment for you, Sally. It's our magnolia floor plan with a view of some really beautiful landscaping just outside the entrance. So I'm closing my eyes here and I can hear magnolia floor plan, beautiful landscaping right outside the entrance. It has that largest closet that you were looking for, and I like to put the benefit in there. You can store 250 articles of clothing. How would I know that? I could go measure. I would go measure. I would go measure my, I think you can put your two fingers together and that's a piece of clothes, so you can literally measure the closet. So you want to be specific. I mean, I can close my eyes and I can see a closet that's going to hang 250 pieces of clothes. In my mind, that's big. That's big. Yay,
Yeah.
And it would be big in the mind's eye of the caller because they can't see it. You have to tell them about it. So the kitchen is amazing. There's a built-in pantry with over 25 square foot of storage space. You can put all your canned goods, and it's open to the great room. So I can visually see, the entertaining that's going here. Then you want to just sort of ask them for that affirmation. Did I hit the spot? Does that sound great? Does that work for you? You're looking for a yes, and you know what? At that point in time, stop talking. You're looking for them to say, yeah, that sounds great,
Or to ask any questions before they get off the phone.
Right.
So you can handle them right there.
Exactly. So I think building that, and a lot of times when we listen to shops, and we listen to a lot of real, recorded calls too, but we listen to those and we hear a lot of numbers and square foot and floor plans, but we don't hear a lot of descriptions. And I know when I was in leasing, I used to literally take my people through a visual tour. Okay, when you walk in the front door, you look to your right, you've got a coat closet. And I would take them on a visual tour of that apartment community so they could visually walk through it with me.
And also for the people that have websites, sometimes I see people that send me to their websites, but I have had others that walk me to their website.
I love the walking through
and that is
website.
awesome because as they talk, you visualize what they are showing.
That's a great way to say, okay, go to our our website and pull up this floor plan. I want to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a great way to do that. I put in red the most important thing: continue to paint a picture with your words, describing the perfect apartment that they told you they wanted. That's the main thing. You want to describe the apartment back to them that they already told you that they wanted. All right, let's move on. And I don't know if you guys do this. You can chat me if you like, but I really think it's important to spend some time talking about the neighborhood, the management staff, the amenities that you have. I see too often people skip that. And to me, it's a value add. I mean, if I'm going to spend $900 at 2 different places, and I've just got the visual in my mind of the floor plan, it would steer me if that person told me they have swimming pool, tennis, fitness, activities close to the Starbucks. Those things would steer me to that apartment community. But if the other one never told me about it, I wouldn't necessarily go there. So I think it's important to spend some time talking about that.
And I think customer service is such a big issue, Michelle, now in the whole business world, that if you have if your team is focused on superior customer service, then share that with them on the call.
I agree. And give examples.
Absolutely. We have a professional team. Yeah,
absolutely.
One more thing I'm going to say is don't assume that people know your area, your surroundings, because sometimes when they are located in great areas, they assume that everybody knows about it. Take advantage of that and highlight even more what you have around your property.
Yeah, because it's new to them. It's old hat to you. You got to remember, it's new to them. Okay, we're going to do a poll. Quick last poll here, guys. If you could answer this question, you may not know it. If you don't know, just put you don't know. But I would love to hear what your call to appointment ratios are. And if you want to just guess.
Don't.
31% said they don't know. Less than 20 on the 19. 30. Well, it's pretty much spread evenly, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Except for that, I don't know. Well, let me ask you guys just to chat me, yes or no. Do you find that people are more reluctant these days to make appointments? Because we're hearing a lot of that. People are just really reluctant to make appointments these days. But we still have to try. So tell me what your guys' thoughts on that. Are they reluctant or are they willing to make appointments?
No, our market does, but we also ask for the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was really curious.
Yes. Tiffin said yes, they are reluctant.
Okay.
Reluctant, yes.
Reluctant. Yes. I think it's because people are busy. They're so busy, but,
I think a lot of that has to do with how you ask to set the appointment.
True, and we're going to talk about that. So we recommend here at the Training Factor, when we do our trainings, we do recommend that we do make the effort to set an appointment. We're going to talk to you about something simple there. You want to ask them, and I say this one question, and you guys can use it. You want to say, can you come see me today? That's what you want to say. Can you come see me today? Because if you don't do it today, if they don't ask them to come today, they're going to lose interest, and chances are somebody else is going to snag them. So it's kind of like fishing. You want to throw the hook out and get the bite. You don't want to wait for the bait to get stolen. So you feel the bite. You want to pull the reel in. You want to catch the fish. So ask them to come and see you today. If they say they can't, then that's where you can ask for an alternative time. But can you come see me today? Tie it down to a specific time. Would 12:30 to 15 work better for you? So you're kind of giving them some options. Make sure they know where to find you. Do you know where we're located? It's a great way to ask that. Be prepared to give directions. Don't take them the ugly way. At my house, you can come in 2 different ways. One looks like I live in a country club, and the other one looks like I live in the worst part of town ever. So you got to take them in the pretty direction. The pretty way to your community.
And the GPS, everyone leans on GPS these days for bringing directions to your community and
still offer directions. Please still make sure, even if they say, I can just put it in the GPS, just still reiterate those directions to them.
Yeah,
it's monumental.
GPSs can take you not a place that you wanted to go. I mean, mine's taken me crazy places.
And give good landmarks.
And
avoid those that might offend.
Okay.
Did
that come in?
Churches, synagogues, things like that.
Offend?
Yeah, fair housing, you want to try and stay away from that.
Okay.
So maybe gas stations, libraries, shopping centers, restaurants. You want to do that, but not,
Go to the Waffle House.
Yeah, the Waffle House, exactly.
Okay, 2 more tips to go. I'm running out of time here on my webinar, but I'm going to kind of rush through this. If you haven't already, get a follow-up number. A lot of times they come in on the caller ID. You can look at the caller ID and say, hey, is your number blah, 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 blah. You know, you don't always have to ask them. You can look at the caller ID and grab that. If you can get it up front, it's great, but, you know, if you can, at least get it before you hang up.
If you have an appointment with them, you can ask them, I'd love to give you a call back. Can I confirm with you, especially if it's the next day? Can I give you a call and confirm what's the best way? So you can confirm by email or you can confirm by telephone.
Absolutely. Great point there, Cynthia. Okay, last tip. Thank them for calling. I have so many times when people hang up and they don't say thank you for calling. They just go, uh-huh, and they hang up.
Okay.
Okay. And so hang up. Thank them for calling. Reaffirm the appointment. Thank you so much for calling. I can't wait to meet you. I know you're going to love the apartment I have in mind for you. I'll see you at 3:15 today. Simple, but don't just leave them hanging and say, mm-hmm, and hang up, because I see that so much.
And let them hang up first.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than to still be talking and the person goes, I know.
I hear that a lot.
I know, it's crazy. All right, thank you guys so much. We have more free training resources on the blog at thetrainingfactor.com/blog. We put a lot of information there, a lot of training stuff. You're welcome to use it, distribute it, whatever you want to do with it. Thank you guys for coming. As you exit, I think there's a poll just so you can report on how I did and how our group did, and if you learned anything from today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.